bought a rock tumbler from Temu so that you don't have to. The rock tumbler took about 3 days to get to me and it cost around $25. Now, when you first start rock tumbling, there's all kinds of different tumblers that you can look at. However, a lot of them can be quite expensive. So when I saw this one on Temu, it really piqued my interest to see, can you get a quality rock tumbler for $25? Now, right off the bat here, there's a couple of red flags that I noticed. Here it says the rough rock dozen becomes a brilliant precious stone after wetting. So, and then here collectors is spelled wrong. So this is definitely not an English brand. Do it yourself, I think it's called. So let's take a look inside and see what we've got. Okay, I saw this on here. You have to hear what this says. Here we go. Kids can collect various kinds of rocks outdoor. Okay. And whet them into extremely attractive keen diamonds with the machine. Wow. This sure looks promising already, doesn't it? Here is everything that it came with. We have our tumbler base, the barrel, whoopsies, I did already open this, and our lid, which is pretty solid. This was also really difficult to get off. It's got this little pull tab, but it does not help, honestly. And then inside it came with some rocks to tumble, and I can see they've kind of already made a mess of the barrel here. Then we have our charger, I don't know, glue or something, an extra thing here. I forgot what that's called, but it's the thingy, okay? Okay. And then it has our powders, and then a bunch of stuff that you can make your jewelry or whatever you want to do with your tumbled rocks in the end. I also noticed that this button, I don't know, we'll have to see when we plug it in, it doesn't click, like listen. See? But these ones all do. One thing that I don't know if I should use the word surprises me or not, but this base and this barrel are almost identical to some of the off-brand rock tumblers that you can find over on Amazon. Now, my theory is that these companies are trying to make a quick buck, look into Alibaba rock tumblers, buy it, slap their own labels on it, and then sell them to us. Even the jewelry pieces that it comes with are extremely similar to the ones that you can find over on Amazon. Okay, I just dumped out the rocks, and tell me, what is this? This is just straight up a piece of dyed glass. Now, could you maybe make this into a beautiful tumbled piece of glass? Maybe, but glass is extremely difficult to tumble and to tumble well. Now, I do see this piece of fluorite. It is kind of that green, it's got a bit of purple in it. Again, kind of a more difficult stone to tumble. I don't even know what these super powdery ones are, but these do not look like, oh, see, is that calcite? What? Okay, calcite is such a weak stone. I doubt that if this is calcite, these are not even going to make it in the tumbler, and they're already super small. This one also looks to me like a piece of dyed glass. So these rocks are extremely disappointing. I think we only have a handful, and I mean, not even, like a fourth of a handful of actual rocks, and they are super brittle. And then the other stuff we have is glass. So it's not looking good. But you know what? We're gonna keep trucking and move on to actually tumbling them. You never know, maybe it'll surprise us. And if you know anything about tumbling, or if you don't, you can check out, I always forget which side it's on, this video up here, and it teaches you all about how to tumble rocks beautifully. But I'm not going to tumble in the way that I typically do. I'm going to follow the instructions exactly and see what we get. So in our instructions, it says rinse the stones with water and fill the barrel with 125 grams of stones. I'm going to assume that that is 125 grams, and I'm also only going to be putting in these because I'm going to pretend this is my first time ever experiencing rocks to tumble. Add step 1, coarse grinding powder. Add enough water to cover the stones. Snugly tighten the cap on the barrel to prevent leakage. All right, and then it just says to put it on the rock tumbler, but it doesn't really say how long, so that is the only bit of instructions we have. All right, so let's move on to step 1 here. All right, let's get this grit in here. This is coarse grit. I mean, it does look pretty coarse, I would say. It doesn't tell us anything other than that, so we're just gonna trust it and pour it in. So here's how many rocks we have in this barrel. That is maybe a fourth full. And if you know anything about rock tumbling, you're gonna want the barrel 2/3 to 3/4 full usually, because it helps so that the rocks aren't bouncing off each other so much and damaging each other, and it gives them a better shine. So, like I said, we're just gonna follow the instructions and add the water and the grit. It also doesn't tell us how long that we should put this barrel on for. However, this base goes up to 4 days if the button will work. So we're gonna try that, and I'm just gonna pretend that I don't know. The max is 4 days, so that's what I'm gonna go for. All right, I added my water, and it said to put enough water to completely cover the stones, which I also don't recommend. I usually like to kind of go a little bit below that line, but who knows, maybe that's what you need for such few rocks in the barrel. Typically in the first stage, you wanna do it for at least a week, then check your stones to see if they're ready and move them on. But we're gonna do 4 days and see what happens. Okay, I was about to put the seal on the top, and I noticed that this little screw is like broken. The only reason it is staying on is because it's got this rubber seal on it. So that's good. It's not supposed to do that. Anyway, okay, got the seal on. Like I said, this is not supposed to do that. Put this on the top. It's also not a very tight seal for this metal piece. And went to go turn this on here. It doesn't go on because this is broken. So I'm not really sure how this is gonna stay sealed. I'm gonna try to finagle it a little bit, but I don't even know if I can move on with this if like it doesn't seal. If I let this tumble around, it's going to spill everywhere without this on there. Okay, so give me a minute. Okay, I did a little deconstruction. I took the rubber piece off, and you can see, I don't know if this was attached at one point, but I'm just gonna put some tape on it to try to hold it in place, I guess, and then put it all back together and hope that that works. Okay, I put some Gorilla duct tape, it was the strongest tape I could find, on the back of here to hopefully hold this screw in place. Let's see if that works. It still won't even twist on. Like, was it twisted on when we first got it? Like, that just does nothing. It's like this isn't even tall enough to reach this. I don't really know what to do here. I mean, I guess we just put it on like this and hope it doesn't explode. Well, it wouldn't explode. It would like all spill out. Okay, I guess we get some more Gorilla tape. Okay, so here is what we got. Will I be able to get the tape off? I don't know. Is it gonna work? Who knows? You better stick around to find out. For me, it's gonna be a few days, but for you, it'll be like 15 seconds. Let's see how this goes. All right, we are back, and it has been 4 days. 4 very interesting days. Now, this bad boy is the loudest tumbler I think I have ever owned. I don't know if it was partly because of all of the tape around here, which did hold up and I had no leaks, so there's that, or what, but it was so loud. Anyway, I hear a lot of stuff kind of sloshing around in there, so let's see if I can get this lid off and we'll check out our rocks. Okay, here we go. Here is what we're looking like. I don't see any rocks in there, but let's dump it out, rinse them off, and see what they look like. Okay, apologies for the lighting here, but let's take a look at our rocks. Okay, well, here are our microscopic rocks here. Let's go take a better look at them. And here they are out of stage 1. Honestly, a few of these do not look too bad. Like this one, not too bad. But there are some literal microscopic teeny tiny rocks that I was picking out of the bottom of the sink. And here's that glass that we've been tumbling. All these little white ones, I'm really still not quite sure what they are, but they have shrank significantly since we put them in there. Now, typically if I was tumbling and this is the result I got, I would not be moving these on quite yet to stage 2. And the reason I wouldn't move them on is because, as you can see, they are just not quite as smoothed out as they should be. to move them on to grit 2. Now here is one that I have in my collection that I deemed ready to move on to grit 2, and you can kind of see the difference here. This one is just a bit more gritty, whereas this is kind of more a satin finish, and I do have a couple big chips on this one that I typically don't like to move on, but it was taking forever. So this though, however, I would not be moving on to stage 2. But in our manual, it says to move them on, so that's what we are going to do. Okay, so we've got the rocks and the water back in here. The level is extremely low, but let's move on to step 2. Okay, so the instructions say to tumble this one now for another 3 to 7 days. So I think I'm gonna play it on the safe side and do 7 days. All right, see you then. Also, yes, I did move this to the basement because it was so loud. So the max I can push is 4 days. Listen to this. It's gonna take off like a rocket ship. Also watch, it literally like moves across the floor. Ready? So at one point it will end up across the room. All right, it is time to check on our Temu rocks. My tape job lasted another week, so pretty proud of that, to be honest. Sounding pretty light. Oh gosh, I don't know. So let's see what we have inside after week 2. Okay, I was trying to pull the lid off and it kind of exploded everywhere, so that part was fun. This little pull tab, not the best. Okay, pretend I didn't already start pouring them. Let's pour the rest of the rocks. Woo! Look at those babies. There's so many left. Gave them a good old rinse and just look at these babies, huh? There's one that's kind of big. Well, let's take these back, dry them off, and see what we got, I suppose. Okay, so here we are after stage 2. These actually don't look awful. I mean, yes, they're super tiny, but these fake glass rocks aren't doing too bad. But these rocks, I honestly don't even know what is going to be left of them after we're done here. But these I had to literally pick out from underneath my strainer because they were falling through the holes. They're looking relatively smooth, but it's such a small amount. Let's move these on to number 3, shall we? And there we go. Let's get this on for another week in step 3. And here is how we're looking after grit 3. I think that black stuff is part of the barrel that has like worn off, which is kind of crazy. I've had some wearing before, but I've never had that much before. So, okay, there we go. There's our loot. Yeah, so definitely little bits of the barrel, which is odd. All right, we are back with this and our final step 4 polish. So, can't wait to see what these look like in another 7 days. Here is the base as well and how we're doing on this. You can see, I mean, just like pieces of it are just grinding off and causing quite a big mess. So that part's not quite as fun either. The belt seems to be holding up, but it's also like weirdly sticky. So not sure what that's about, and it's getting a little loose here, but we're just gonna leave it how it is. Let's get our polish back on and get it back on for another week. All right, let's go ahead and grab the rocks from Temu. Oh, wait, what? What? Where are they? Where are they? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. It just went all the way across my basement floor because when this thing is on, it moves. Okay, now this thing is light. Oh my gosh. And you can hear, I mean, it's like 90% liquid. Let's see our results, shall we? This tape is so sticky, by the way. It's like my fingers are sticking together. If that wasn't a satisfying reveal, I don't know what is. Oh my gosh. Okay, that just went everywhere. Oh my gosh, I just sprayed it all up my foam. Okay, hopefully it didn't get it on any of my beautiful rocks. Again, just look at that barrel wear down. All that black stuff, that is nuts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, are you ready for this? Are you ready for the beauty of these rocks? I don't think you're ready.
Wow. These look so good. And oh, look at those. Wow, that's really nice. Oh my goodness, all my friends are gonna be jealous of these. I'm gonna have to fight them off, man. That is terrible. Okay, again, remember, this is what we're going for. Look at that. You see that shine? This one's not even the best one. Okay, look at this guy. Look at the little bean. You see that shine? Where do you see the shine on these guys? Nowhere? Yeah, me neither. That's so pretty. Okay, anyways, that's our results, you guys. This one I thought was interesting. It's a teeny tiny little ball, so cool. Yeah, look at those, huh?
So overall, do I think you should buy a rock tumbler from Temu? No, I do not. That was probably the worst experience I've ever had with a tumbler. From the broken lid to it bouncing over my floor, like I would literally find it in new places every time I came down to check on them, to the amount and quality of rocks that they sent, to the very unsatisfactory polish job in the end. I mean, 90% of those white rocks literally dissolved into nothing. And then the pink rocks, which is glass, just got all cloudy. So if I was a brand new rock tumbler and I just got this kit and I was really excited, I'd be really disappointed waiting an entire month like this to end up with nothing as a result. So do I think you should probably spend your money elsewhere, maybe splurge just a little bit to get yourself a better rock tumbler? Yes, I think that's a good idea. Now, if you want my recommendations, let me know in the comments and I'll tell you what I use. And two, you know what? I don't want these. So if anybody wants them, I will send them to you for free. Just comment anything in the comments, like the video, be subscribed, and I'll pick one of the comments below and send them to you, because otherwise they'd probably end up in the garbage, to be honest. Okay, well, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!